All right. Hello, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, somewhere out there in the world. This is Real Talk with yours truly, E.V.E, from the region and beyond, and all over the World Wide Web. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have been enjoying your beautiful weekend as I have. And we're going to enjoy it even more because I had to bring someone back by popular demand because there's a lot of us that are now into healthier eating. Folks, please get a notepad or pull it up on your phone with a pen and paper because you're going to be taking notes today. And of course, I have the amazing, the infamous Dr. Jeni Horvat Weis. Yay. And she's come back because I did say that I was going to bring her back once a month. I brought her on the other show, the other podcast, which is The Face of a Hero, because she is a hero. She has over 23,000 followers on her holistic page on Facebook, and we are reaching closely to 24,000. And I would like for all of us to help her reach 25,000 by the mid of this month. And I think we can make it happen. Why am I saying this? Why am I sharing this, folks, here on Real Talk? Because I love to keep it real. I don't sugarcoat. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm just saying because I love you for reals, right? And of course, she brings in some truth that is like, oh, ouch. Oh, that one was for me. Oh, I didn't even know. So just sit down, be still, and take notes. Listen to some education on healthier eating. Let me just tell you real quick about Dr. Jeni Horvat. She is a board-certified naturopathic doctor. She sees patients from all over the country. And thanks to the World Wide Web and thanks to technology, we can do that, just like how I'm reaching out to you, beautiful audience, through the World Wide Web, right? And so she actually has patients from other countries here on Earth, obviously, through the beautiful telehealth. Okay, so she is open for appointments. I'll let her tell you how, and we're going to share this information. She wrote her doctoral dissertation on reversing autoimmune disease. Did you hear me say that? Reversing autoimmune disease. And she's helped educate thousands of patients and clients how to reverse thyroid disorders, multiple sclerosis, lupus, psoriasis, diabetes, heart disease, and many other health issues that plague our society today. How many of you are going through that type of illness or your body has been diagnosed with that? I'm sure that there's going to be quite a few raising your hands. Thankfully, through the grace of God, I'm not suffering any of those. Thank you, Lord, for that. And of course, she uses epigenetics, and which is a clinical term of lifestyle factors. And of course, you know, my parents I could say that my parents had XYZ illnesses, but I won't claim them. Doesn't mean that they're not in the genetics, but I'm not claiming them, right? But she's teaching folks in ways that very few, far and in between teach. She has advanced certifications in herbalism, wellness counseling, Alzheimer's disease, Eiler, Stanless, reflexology, pain management, and medical aesthetics, among others. I can go on and on and on about what she's doing, amazing things just to help us all, but we have to want to learn. One thing is she's teaching us, another thing is not applying it to our daily living, to our eating habits. We have to retrain this brain. So without further ado, I know I've took long enough of your time to bring her on stage. Welcome again. But this is your first time here on Real Talk with E.V.E. Dr. Jeni, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here and talk about things that aren't food. And thank you for that introduction. And thank you for having me, Eve.
I was like, food that's not food. It still didn't hit here. Food that's not food. And we're going to talk about today about the what are you calling pyramid?
The not food pyramid.
Food pyramid.
Yes. Yep.
Whatever that means, folks, you and I are going to sit and listen and take notes because Dr. Jeni obviously gone through some things herself, and we're going to find out here today. We're going to keep it real, folks, and some of you may not like what you have to hear because of our habits in this country or anywhere else our eating habits haven't been the healthiest. And when she said food is not food, I'm like, huh? Come back again. Can you say what you meant? Food that's not food. So welcome here to Real Talk with EVE, Dr. Jeni, and thank you for making time for us and continuously to educate people on the World Wide Web. I mean, I applaud you for that page that you created. Tell us a little bit about you, other than what I've already mentioned. Why do you do what you do, Dr. Jeni?
Sure. Well, first, I love to help anyone that has a desire to learn. If they have a desire to learn information, I have a desire to teach them. And I have always had a desire to learn. And when I was in high school, I was a high level tennis athlete. And I was what I thought very physically fit. And I played varsity tennis for a very high level tennis school, and I was state ranked. And because I was thin, and I thought looked really good, I thought that I was healthy, and I was eating things like, McDonald's and ice cream and Oreos and all of that stuff and more, Taco Bell, Wendy's. I was very guilty, like guilty as charged. And one day in my early 20s, my period stopped. And I didn't have a menstrual cycle for 7 months. And I ended up going in for a pap smear and finding out that I had cervical cancer. Wow. And I didn't have a lot of options besides death at the time. And I didn't want that as an option.
Wow.
So I had to relearn what I was putting in my body, because something I was putting in my body wasn't working. And I used to think that Oreos were a bad food and that salad was a good food. I used to think that grilled chicken breast with broccoli was a good food, and pancakes with syrup and ice cream were a bad food. The problem is, when I looked up the definition of food, and I looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary, and food is a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. Well, burgers from fast food restaurants and Twinkies and Ho-Hos and M&Ms weren't maintaining my Jeni life and growth. And they weren't bad food. They were just not food. They didn't fit the definition of food. In the same way, my phone is not food and a paperclip is not food. They're not bad food. They're just not food. And I like taking patients out of the mentality of, hey, don't eat that. That's bad for you. Why are you doing that? That doesn't help anybody. And that doesn't help to encourage anybody. And I'm a big fan of neuro reprogramming. So our brains, with neuroplasticity, we can actually reprogram them. And calling something a bad food is not only not scientifically accurate, it's not linguistically accurate, because we've decided as a society, according to the World Dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, that food is a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. So food has two characteristics. In order to be food, something must be nutritious while at the same time maintaining life and growth. And if it fits those two things together at the same time, then it is actually scientifically and linguistically food. And if it doesn't fit those things, then it's just not food. It's not a bad food, and we don't have to beat ourselves up, but we have to learn not to eat it because it's not food. So that's how I help my patients to overcome, oh no, I can't have my favorite bad foods. It's a reprogramming of, hey, those things weren't helping my body out. They're not foods. So I and develop the hashtag food that is not food over the years to make people there's no such thing as a bad food. There's just stuff that isn't food, and there's all the stuff that is food that we can have.
So that means that we haven't been eating food.
And myself included, I'm guilty as charged also. Or I was, not now the last, 15 years, but I ate a bunch of stuff that was not food. And the same,
oh my goodness,
glass is not food.
So folks, this is some real talk, and she has done her homework, her research. And I think her research has gone deeper than yours and mine put together and everybody else's that's not in this career, this profession, because she knows what she's talking about. So all these years, including yesterday, we're not eating food, right? So then what would you call it if it's not food? It's not bad food because it's not
a substance. It could be a substance. Like, for example, milk. We were talking about this off the air. You said, well, what about, your grandma or someone who lives in Mexico and has a cow, and the cow hasn't been injected with hormones and it eats grass. And it sounds like, well, we could drink the milk from that cow, and the milk in that cow, it is food, and it's food for a baby cow. It helps to change a 65-pound calf into an adult bovine animal that has 4 stomachs, that has fur, horns, and that moves. And they're very different directions that are in milk. There's hormones in milk, and there are directions that go into baby that help to develop that baby into a larger version of the same species, just like human breast milk has the hormones needed to develop a baby human into an adult human. But if it's the wrong directions, and there's been so many studies now, like the Swedish milk study, there's been so many studies that show that milk causes cancer, that milk contributes to autoimmune disease like lupus, multiple sclerosis, asthma is definitively linked to milk. So many things are linked to milk, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Graves' disease, and that doesn't sound like it's maintaining life and growth. That actually is contributing to death. So if something is not maintaining life and growth and nutritious at the same time, it actually doesn't fit the definition of food. We might think it's food, and it's not a bad food. It's just not food for humans.
It's not food for humans. So we just been programmed, folks, these commercials, it's to sell a product, just like doctors, to sell pharma. Okay. I'm just keeping it real, folks. There is one doctor, Dr. Jeni, that I believe you both will both be a dynamite people to work together, because he came across my screen the other day, and I'm ordering his book. It's free, and he says to the doctors, how dare you not educate your patients on how to be healthy, stay healthy, or get healthy? Instead, you're quick to write a script. I was like, wow. I applaud that doctor. I don't have his name offhand right now, but I applaud him for being bold. And he's offering this book for free. I was like, wow. And that reminded me of you, Dr. Jeni, that all the information that you offer on that Facebook page, that you have 23,000 plus people, you're not charging anybody for that information. And that's priceless information. And that's why I felt the need, because I love you, my audience from all over the world, to be healthy, including myself. So milk, I have never really been a heavy milk drinker per se. Maybe in a bowl of cereal here and there, it's the 2%. But what is 2%? If we already know that, you already kind of like went like this to me. Okay. It's like, Eve, you are not eating food. Okay. So what is the whole milk, 2% milk, skim milk? What are those? I mean, milk isn't food. So what is the 2%? Is it
those are different fat contents. So milk that has, whole milk is oftentimes 4% milk fat. None of them are food, 4% milk, 2% there's 2% milk fat. Skim milk means the fat has been skimmed off at the top. And then there's fat-free milk. There's no fat in that.
Wow.
They're all not food.
So parents, we all give food, not food, milk to our children. So what do we say to our parents, or to those parents? I was that parent giving my children milk, because that commercial, milk does a body good.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Liar, pants on fire.
Yes. That's how I feel. And I used to buy into it hook, line, and sinker. I had the Got Milk poster of Serena Williams, the tennis star, with a milk mustache on her upper lip saying, milk, it does a body good, and got milk. And she had a tennis net just draped around her shoulders. And I hated the taste of milk when I was a kid, but I would pinch my nose and I would drink it because I wanted to be a great tennis player like Serena Williams and have strong bones. Actually, now milk depletes our bone density. The more milk we eat, the less bone mass we have. And that's why I created the not food pyramid, because I wanted to educate people on what is actually not food and talk about each section in the not food pyramid. It's a spoof of the USDA's food pyramid that they created in 1992 that was based off of an earlier model. But the USDA, the US Department of Agriculture, and grains are a multi-billion dollar industry, and that's what pays into the USDA. So of course they're going to put grains on the bottom. They're going to put things that make them money, and they created the food pyramid for their own financial interests, not because it was what was going to cause a person to be nourished and maintain their life and growth. Just because something is in the food pyramid doesn't make it food. So that's why in my whole Horvat Holistic Health system that I created with my husband, we made the not food pyramid in a tongue-in-cheek way to show people what actually scientifically causes death and disease and does not maintain life and growth and is devoid of nutrients and will actually rob your body of nutrients, steal nutrients from your body. Everything in this food pyramid will. So it's not food.
So speaking of pyramid, to my beautiful, lovely audience, take notes. Let me know when you're ready to do that, to talk about that not food pyramid. It's like, we're going to be like in awe with all of this information that we're going to be scratching our head. I'm like, really? We have not been educated correctly, folks. Doctors don't speak truth, folks. Let's not talk about the vaccine, okay? COVID came and left, and some people still allegedly are getting it, or that's what the doctors are saying, just to get you to get pharma fatter. And I'm not making pharma fatter. I don't want to get myself fatter either. That's why I'm bringing Dr. Jeni here to you all, because I care enough about your health, folks, and she can help reverse this. But let's get going with this amazing presentation, Not Food Pyramid. Take it away, Dr. Jeni.
Okay, so this is the Not Food Pyramid, and this is part of the whole Horvat Holistic Health System. So the Not Food Pyramid is the pyramid where everything in it is not food. You can see there's a common theme of everything in here. It's kind of a beige color. We don't see a lot of color, and I'm going to talk about why. The color in food comes from plant pigments called antioxidants. Green antioxidants are what color things like celery and spinach and kale. That's called chlorophyll. There's flavonoids. Those are dark antioxidants that are in things like pomegranate and blueberries and purple sweet potato. There's red antioxidants. There's orange antioxidants in carrots. They're called carotenoids. There's yellow antioxidants. There's so many different colors of antioxidants, but antioxidants are colorful. They're full of color. And if we notice, everything in this food pyramid is pretty lacking in color. So it's devoid of nutrients, not a lot of nutrients. And that's the first characteristic of the two-part definition of food, which is a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. And I use this illustration all the time with patients. I tell them to think of food as the color orange. So the color orange is interesting, just like the color purple and green are interesting. They're secondary colors made out of two primary colors. Red and yellow mixed together in equal portions make the color orange. And a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth together is food. If something is only nutritious, it's not food. If something is only maintaining life and growth, it's not food. It has to be a nutritious substance that also maintains life and growth at the same time in order to be food. Just like orange is, by definition, is a 50-50% mixture of two primary colors, red and yellow, together. Orange is like food. It has to fit the multi-characteristic definition of orange and the multi-characteristic definition of food in order to be food. So, are you ready to learn what is actually in the not food pyramid? Do you want to start unpacking it and talking about each category?
Yes. Let's take notes, folks, because this is free education right now. So take advantage of this.
So I was thinking of the name, and I thought about calling it the Food That Is Not Food System. It just didn't sound super catchy. And I've been talking about food that is not food for years. And I was playing around with the name for this, and my husband just said, call it the not food pyramid, because everything in it is going to not be food. And I loved that. So this is the not food pyramid that my husband, Christopher, who's also a holistic practitioner like myself, came up with. And at the bottom here, We have grains. So grains are also at the bottom of the USDA's, the US Department of Agriculture's food pyramid. And it's suggested that we eat 6 to 11 servings of grains in a day, which is just astounding. I don't know who in their right mind, you know, can, even if you've really got the munchies, how can you eat 11 pieces of bread in a day? You know, that's
Yeah.
a lot of sandwiches. You know, why is it that high? And it's because there's a financial motivation. There's a financial motivation to put grains at the bottom because grains are a cash crop. The biggest cash crop in the United States is corn. Wheat is also hugely up there. So is oats. So is barley, rye. So of course they're going to put grain at the bottom, which make a lot
Mhm.
more money than tomatoes and squash and mushrooms. So grains are at the bottom of the food pyramid for a couple reasons, but I want to talk about the two main reasons I put grains in the not food pyramid. The first reason is anti-nutrients. So we think of the word anti. Anti means against. If there's a movie and it's got an anti-hero in it, that guy is against something. If we're anti-society, we might not want to go out of our house much. If we're anti whatever, we're against it. So anti means against. Against what? In this case, nutrients. How can something be against nutrients? And here's how. The seeds of grasses, which are cereals, which are grains, grains are cereals, are seeds of grasses. So all seeds of grasses are a type of cereal, and all seeds of grasses are grains. Wheat is the seed of a grass. It's a cereal. Corn is the seed of a grass. Barley is the seed of a grass. Rye is the seed of a grass. All seeds of grasses have an outer coating of something that is very bitter to the taste when raw, and it's called anti-nutrients. There's a lot of anti-nutrients. Examples of anti-nutrients include phytic acid and lectins and prolamins, and there's been over 500 anti-nutrients identified. We'd be here forever to list them all, but let's talk about phytic acid. Phytic acid is in grains. If we were to eat a salad, and the salad has tomatoes, cucumbers, and salmon, it's full of nutrients like phosphorus from the fish, iron from the spinach, it has copper from the tomatoes. Well, when we put croutons on that salad, now there's anti-nutrients in that salad. And when we eat that salad together, phytic acid from the grains in those croutons, which are the seeds of cereal grasses, inside of our gut, this is an M in sign language. Say there's mineral magnesium. Phytic acid will come and will bind to the mineral magnesium and kick it out of us. We won't absorb it. We just ate a bunch of magnesium and paid for that expensive avocado, and ate a bunch of selenium and paid for that really expensive wild caught fish, and ate a bunch of iron and paid for that expensive organic spinach. But anti-nutrients can block 70% or more of the nutrients that we eat from getting absorbed, because anti-nutrients in grains will bind to and chelate minerals out of our body. So we need vitamins and minerals in trace amounts in order to live. They're called micronutrients. Macronutrients are things we need in large amounts to live. Micronutrients are things we need in small amounts in order to live. And now that we don't have minerals, guess what? We're not going to have vitamins, because vitamins need minerals to get absorbed into our gut lining. So now we're going to be depleted in vitamins and minerals and have lack of nutrients just from adding the grains to that salad, or grains to anything, because of the anti-nutrient content in grains like phytic acid, lectin, and prolamins. So if all of our nutrients are leaving our body without the chance to get absorbed, now we're not only not getting what we paid our hard-earned money for at the grocery store, now we're depleted in nutrients, and now we're getting sick, and there's time off work, and all kinds of diseases can come. Cancer from lack of vitamin D and lack of magnesium, diabetes, all these diseases come from lack of nutrients. And if
Wow.
grains, through their anti-nutrient profile, kick out nutrients from the body. They literally are anti-nutrient, and they do not fit the first part of the definition of a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. That's not nutritious. So grains contain anti-nutrients that kick nutrients out of our body. That's a big reason why I don't recommend eating grains. But let's talk about another reason why, totally different from anti-nutrients.
Wow. And I love croutons on my salad, Dr. Jeni. Now I may not eat any more croutons in my salad.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. I love
my croutons on my Caesar salad. Oh. Who does not love croutons on their Caesar salad? Oh
Put something
you are crushing me.
Put walnuts on there. But kick those croutons to the curb.
Oh, I love walnuts. I love walnuts.
For them. Yeah.
Walnuts, pecans in my
walnuts,
salad.
Pecans would be really good. You could do sunflower seeds. There's a lot of things that are crunchy that won't rob your body of nutrients. Yeah.
I don't know if you meant to change the screen or not on the slide. I just want you to know. I don't know if you're going to the next one or not.
Oh, we're staying on this slide.
Oh, we're staying on this slide.
Okay. There's still some more stuff that isn't food.
Oh my gosh. I mean, guys, I'm fit. Look, before the end of this show, we're going to feel real guilty about not eating food. That we think we're eating food. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that's why I call it food that isn't food, to make people think and not beat themselves up and say, oh no, I'm eating all this bad food. It's just a reprogramming of the brain to say, I'm just eating these things that isn't food. And that's why I have these symptoms that I'm dealing with, because I keep putting things in my body that aren't food. So we need to put food into our bodies, because there's no such thing as a good food and a bad food. There's just stuff that fits the definition of food and stuff that doesn't fit the definition of food. It's not food.
So White Castles, McDonald's, what was that, Dairy Queen, all those, we are not eating food, but yet we are training our brain because of what's being advertised subliminally sometimes in those commercials. We make ourselves think we're eating junk food.
Yes.
Not healthy food.
Right. We'll say, I just ate all this bad food, or I had a whole sleeve of Oreos. I had all this bad food. No, they didn't. They just had stuff that wasn't food. They put things that weren't food into their body. And that's why a lot of people are sick. Wow. Yeah. And I want to talk about glutenoid compounds. This is reason number 2 to avoid grains is glutenoid compounds. So we hear about gluten all the time, gluten-free diet, gluten this, gluten sensitivity. What is gluten? And I would like to explain what it is. On the molecular structure of grains, and grains are the seeds of cereal grasses. On the molecular structure, there's a center portion, and then there's 2 plant proteins, one on either side, called gluten and gliadin. They mix together. When we eat them, when we chew them, they form a gelatinous, stretchy substance called gluten. Gluten is a plant protein. It's a protein from cereal grasses. And glutenoids are in all 100% of grains. Now, gluten is the name of the glutenoid compound found in wheat, in spelt, in barley, in rye, in kamut, in corazan, in durum. They're all basically different types of wheat. But we don't just need to avoid wheat. Some people think, they'll just go wheat free. The problem is glutenoid compounds are in 100% of grains. And the health food industry gets a little sneaky too. Just like the other side, they'll sell something, it'll say gluten-free bread. Well, it has rice and corn in it. There's glutenoid compounds in those. There's a glutenoid compound in corn called zein, Z-E-I-N. It's scientifically shown to cause autoimmune disease, self-attack, like lupus and multiple sclerosis. It's not deniable anymore. There's studies that show this, guys. So there's a book called Grain Brain. The author of that says we should never eat cereal grasses. Our body can't digest them. There's a book called Going Against the Grain. There's literature now coming out. There's one called Wheat Belly. Dr. Isabella Wentz, I studied her research when I was doing my dissertation. Grains are the number 1 cause of autoimmune disease, the body attacking the body. And glutenoid compounds, the reason why they're so deadly is glutenoid compounds like gluten found in wheat, and zein found in corn, and hordenin found in rye, and avenin found in oats. There's no such thing as gluten-free oats because there's not glutenoid compound free oats. That's like saying to a strawberry blonde, you're not a redhead because you're just not a ginger. Well, there's all different shades of red hair. And if there's red in there, they're a redhead. If there's gluten in there, glutenoid compounds, and there is in all grains, that means there's going to be something called molecular mimicry and autoimmune disease. Molecular mimicry is when the protein sequencing, the glutenoid compounds on the actual molecule of the grain itself, the two on the molecule, kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, they mimic and look just like our thyroid tissue. So our body, when they leak through our gut, and everybody that eats grains, even one spoonful, has leaky gut, when they leak through into our bloodstream, our body goes, oh, I don't want those attackers in there. Those are foreign invaders. So our white blood cells go into attack mode and try and go and eat and gobble up our all the attackers, those things that it doesn't want in the body, parasites, bacteria, and it's trying to get to the gluten. But the problem is, because our thyroid tissue looks so similar in structure to the glutenoid compounds, now our body ends up taking a bite of our own thyroid. And it's an autoimmune reaction. So when we eat grains, they leak through our gut, leaky gut, intestinal permeability. And now our own body attacks our own body because it's a case of mistaken identity. And our phagocytes, which are our specialized cells in our body that swallow and engulf these foreign invaders, these pathogens, they're not going to take hours to look under, a microscope and say, is this the thyroid tissue in Eve Gomez, or is this some croutons from her salad? It's going to take a bite out of it. And over the years, the thyroid will get smaller and smaller and smaller and whittle away. And that's why people have so many health issues. The thyroid controls cholesterol deposition. The thyroid regulates heartbeat. The thyroid regulates our lungs' ability to breathe. The thyroid regulates our metabolism and our skin's moisture barrier and sleep. And along with our adrenals, our adrenaline, our energy levels, the thyroid regulates our cognitive development. So if the thyroid is getting attacked, our whole body's attacked. The thyroid regulates muscle movement. The thyroid regulates bone growth. If the thyroid is getting attacked because our own body is eating itself, because we're eating grains that contain glutenoid compounds and cause molecular mimicry, because the way the protein sequencing is placed on the antigen is so similar between the grains and our thyroid tissue, that doesn't sound like maintaining life and growth. That actually sounds like ushering in death and disease. So grains are not only not nutritious, and they have anti-nutrients, but they have glutenoid compounds that cause so many illnesses like lupus and multiple sclerosis, as self-attack, or the body's attacking itself. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which I did my dissertation on, reversing autoimmune disease. So for those reasons, I can't ethically, as a doctor that took an oath, I can't call grains food for a human being.
But yet, Dr. Jeni, we are told you need to eat your grains, fiber, this and that. Wow. I mean, I'm just like getting slapped with so much truth here, folks, with Dr. Jeni. I hope that you're taking notes, and I hope that you're not going, yeah, right, sure. We are so prone and trained to think and believe a lie quicker than the truth, folks. And this is real talk. And Dr. Jeni isn't just telling you bluff. She did her research, and I am like going to be working with her. There's certain things that I want to talk about in the near future and to show you, because I have friends, Dr. Jeni, that are going to be calling you because they have MS, because they have lupus, and yet they go and get that treatment, that stem cell treatment that's thousands and thousands of dollars later, not doing any good for you. For the moment, it does. But for how long is it going to help you? And it's not getting rid of it. So here is Dr. Jeni with solutions
Mhm.
to solve your issues, your problemas.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, what you're telling me is like, yeah, okay, I need to eat my grains. I need to have my dairy. I need to have this. I need to have that. In other words, kill me. That's what I'm allowing people to tell me.
Mhm.
Something to do that's going to kill me, that's going to
Mhm.
speed up my life or death in this case. Wow.
Mhm.
Mm.
It is. It's really interesting.
Mind
I
blowing.
Yeah, me too. And I was discovering this information also. I've worked now with thousands of patients from all around the world. And the patients that remove grains and dairy and other foods that aren't foods you'll see in this not food pyramid from their protocol have astounding results reversing disease, chronic disease. And it's because we go to the root of the why the diseases are there in the first place. A stem cell treatment, a prescription drug with side effects, it's just a band-aid, and a band-aid with harmful side effects that doesn't address the why. Why is this happening? And if we're feeding in our body inflammation, there's still going to be that source trickling in, and it's never going to go away. Yeah. You want to hear about dairy? Why dairy's not a food?
Sure. I mean, we've been told all these years since the time we were born, for those of us that did not breastfed our children, we gave them milk. Yeah. What kind of milk? We're going to talk about that later on another show about formula. But yes, tell us
Mhm.
about what milk is or not.
All right. So milk is the mammary gland secretions of bovine animals, specifically cows, yaks, buffalo. It's the mammary gland secretions also of sheep and goats. So it's the juice from inside the teats of mammals. And what is it? It has hormones. And hormones, remember, they tell our body three things: what to do, where to do it, and how much is to be done. What to do, all right, child going through puberty, it's time to grow. Where to do it, we're going to start growing in your shins. How much is to be done? 2 inches this year. So hormones tell our body what to do, where to do it, and how much is to be done. And when we drink milk, we are drinking the instructions meant and designed by Jehovah God to be given to a baby of that species, a baby cow, a baby goat, a baby lamb, a baby camel. And when we're drinking the milk that has instructions not for humans, but it's telling a cow how to grow, that's where we get 7-year-olds starting their period. That's where we get 9-year-olds with double D breasts. That's why we get 4-year-olds now that are menstruating. It's because their
What?
bodies are
Wait,
growing.
is that real? A
Yes,
4-year-old, a
real.
9-year-old with
I had
breasts?
a patient that was a 5-year-old that was menstruating one time. Yes. And that's because they're getting the directions to grow really fast and grow really big from a cow, not from their own mother. So when they're getting these directions from a cow, their body starts acting like a cow. All right. Now we have people, women, that are 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds. There's a show called My 600-Pound Life. How do people get to 600 pounds? Not by eating meat and vegetables. Okay.
No, that's for sure. By eating non-food.
Like, and that's not, there's a lot of this fat positivity thing. It is not pleasant being plump. Okay. It hurts,
No.
bad for the joints. It shortens lifespan. How is that pleasant? We're not making fun of them, but we're actually facing reality, right? Real talk. This is real talk. It's bad
Yes.
to be obese. If someone is 50 pounds or more obese, it will shorten their lifespan. Overweight. So dairy is not a food. Why? Because it contains the hormones from a foreign species that will tell our body the wrong directions. Imagine you're driving down the road and you're driving from Chicago. I used to live in Chicago to Florida, and you put in, the correct pin on the GPS, but imagine along the way it takes you to Arizona. You got bad directions. You didn't end up where you needed to go. It's
Right.
the same thing with milk. Milk gives our body bad directions from an animal, not from a human, that tells our body and starts programming our body as if it was a cow. And remember, cows have 4 stomachs. They've got horns and hooves and fur, and they moo. They're not humans. We shouldn't be drinking their juice, right? That's disgusting. So 1 in 6 cows in the United States, there's been many studies done. 1 in 6 cows in the United States has mastitis, an infection in their teat. And 1 jug of milk doesn't come from 1 cow at the store. It comes from thousands. It comes from thousands of cows. So in 1 spoonful of milk, there's an average of 1,200,000 somatic cells. Those are pus cells. 1,200,000 pustular cells for every teaspoon of milk. You're paying money to drink an infection from a cow's udder. That's utterly ridiculous. Why would we do that? Right?
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That's why I put it in the dang not food pyramid, because when we're drinking the mammary gland secretions of cows, we're being told what to do, where to do it, and how much is to be done, as if we're a cow. Drinking milk ages us. It gives us wrinkles. Milk is associated scientifically with multiple sclerosis. In fact, the Society of Multiple Sclerosis in the United States recommends anyone with multiple sclerosis to not have milk or dairy products of any sort. And they're mainstream. So if someone has lupus, the first thing I do is take them off of dairy, take them off of all the stuff in the pyramid. Dairy also performs molecular mimicry. It's the same thing that grains does, causing the body to attack ourselves. Dairy has a lot of calcium in it, but the problem is our body can't absorb the calcium. And here's why. We think, oh, we need calcium, we've got to drink dairy. Dairy is one of the poorest sources of calcium there is, because it causes our body to leach calcium, losing calcium. And here's exactly what happens. We drink a glass of milk, and our body hates that we just put a foreign substance in it that it doesn't recognize, and our body starts getting acidic, and it makes acid. And in the acidic forming process, that is when disease happens. So we don't want to have an acidic body, because that's when disease can occur. Diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, lupus, multiple sclerosis. So our body, in order to protect itself, to buffer that acid, now our bones will start leaking out calcium into our bloodstream to alkalize and bring up the alkalinity of our blood. So it won't form. And in the meantime, we're
Okay, I think we have a little technological issue right now. You had frozen for a second, Dr. Jeni. I'm sorry, you froze for a
that's
second.
okay. That's all right. They don't want us to share this part, I guess.
I think so. I was about to say the devil is a liar. No.
Yeah, amen.
This is too much real talk. Oh no. These consumers are going to not come and buy at our stores anymore. Oh my God. We will buy at your stores, but we got to know what to buy.
We got to know what to buy and what to invest in for our health, because what we pay for at the grocery store is in our investment in our quality and our quantity of life. And the time we get to spend with our kids and grandkids, and the time we're able to spend working as able-bodied humans, making money, and the time we're able to spend as a philanthropist, as a productive member of society, as a daughter, as a wife, as a husband, as a son. So everything we eat is actually an investment into our bank of life. And when we intake dairy, it causes this crazy acidic reaction, because now we've just put hormones from another species that tell our body what to do, where to do it, and how much is to be done. A ton of acid forms in our body. And now our bones start leaching out into our bloodstream calcium in order to buffer the acid, because calcium is a base. It's an acid on the pH scale. Remember, we learned the pH scale when we were in science class, in high school. 0 is neutral. 7 is neutral, right in the middle, like that's water, and a 1 to a 6.9 is an acid, and a 7.1 to a 14, that's a base or an alkali. And when our body is too acidic, our bones will leach out calcium to bring it back to an alkaline state. And according to the Swedish milk study, drinking 1 serving of milk once a week increases overall mortality, that is death, in men and women. Even having 1 serving of dairy a week increases your likelihood of death. And this was done with Swedish milk, not American, crap garbage milk that we're eating, which is even like food that is not food that is not food. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So why would we want to drink something that is going to increase mortality, right? Muerta, for men and women? Why are we going to want to do that and put that in our body? I can't say that fits the definition of nutritious because it leaks calcium from our bones. And I can't say that dairy maintains human life and growth because if it increases our mortality and if it causes autoimmune disease, and it does, there's so many studies now attaching dairy to cancer, specifically breast cancer in women, prostate cancer in men, these sexual cancers. And there's women with giant, if you look at pictures from 100 years ago, from the 1920s, you do not see 500-pound women. I've had several very large, super morbidly obese patients with giant breasts. How did the breast get so big? It's not human programming. It's cow programming the breast to grow and grow and grow bigger and bigger and larger and larger. Wow. Yes. So I can't say that dairy is food. And there's many other reasons why it's not food, like, calcium guanylate, which is a milk sugar that calcium galactate, and it feeds cancer. It feeds cancer cells, and grains turn into a sugar in our body, and sugar causes angiogenesis, which is vessels forming to tumors, causing them to grow at a faster rate. So I put grains and dairy at the bottom of the not food pyramid to really make people think, oh, I thought they were food. They're not a bad food. They're just not food. So they're in the not food pyramid because they're not nutritious. They leak nutrition from our bodies, and they do not maintain human life and growth. They're not food, and they're not the color orange, which has two parts to it.
And this is really a tough lesson to learn, folks. As I'm listening to Dr. Jeni tell us what is not food, in my mind is like, am I ready to make that ultimate life-changing for me? And are you willing to make that life-changing for you? Because it's not easy. I know. It's just like a habit, a bad habit. It's like the smoking habit. It's hard to kick it and say no more smoking when we know it's not good for us. I tell people, stop smoking. It's not good for you. Oh yeah, I know. But that is what gets you closer to your deathbed.
Yes.
Right, Jeni? We have to really realize and saying, accept the truth. Be man enough, woman enough to accept the truth that what we've been doing, because we've been programmed to think that way, instead of thinking our own way, which is a healthier way, we would want that, but to apply it to our life and saying, Dr. Jeni, I'm going to buy more of what is food and that not what is not food. And I want you to continue to teach me. And on that note, take a real quick shameless plug. I'm telling people to like your page. We're shooting for 25,000 followers. Yes, find that page on Facebook, folks. But also, are you available for people to call you, for people to say, hey, I'd like to set up an appointment? I've heard so much already just in this half hour plus with the information you shared. I've heard enough. Okay, I have lupus, I have MS, I have this, I have that. Can you help me, Dr. Jeni?
Yeah, I do. I accept all patients that have one thing in common. If they have the desire to learn, which is the first step in the 4 steps of wellness success, I will accept them as a patient. They have to have the desire to learn and apply what they learn. I interview all patients, but if they've got lupus, if they've got MS, I would say, let's have a conversation. Let's see if we're a good fit to work together. I would love to help you if you have a desire to learn. I do genetics testing on all of my patients, and I find out what exact genes that they have. And then I plug in the correct epigenetic factors. So epigenetics is the clinical term for lifestyle factors. I find out what foods are the best for that person's genetics. Now, in this not food pyramid, these are foods that no one should be eating. But some foods are foods for some people and not foods for others, like tomatoes or onions or garlic or beans or nuts or brassicas, like even cabbage and broccoli. So I find out what are the best foods for you. And we plug those foods and the correct herbs and the correct lifestyle factors and the correct exercise regimen into your genetics, and disease reverses. It is incredible. I've never had a patient ask for a refund just because it's using the genes that Yehovah God gave us and then using the natural methods that he created, foods, herbs, vitamins, and minerals, to plug into those genes to upregulate the good genes. We want to turn on and upregulate genes for longevity and immunity. And we want to downregulate and turn off genes for cancer and diabetes and acne. So I'm an epigeneticist. There's geneticists and there's epigeneticists. And I work with all patients that have a desire to learn. I walk them through the groundbreaking systems that I created, the 3 principles of holistic nutrition and the 4 steps of wellness success, and the 2-fold approach to holistic health. And they have great success reversing illness.
Wow. And she's talking real talk, folks, because she helped reverse an illness that she had, or several, maybe. I don't know. Tell us.
I was pretty sick in my early 20s. So this is a lot to talk about, but I started having terrible flatulence. So my gas smelled literally like death. Wow. And it was because something was going on in my body and the inside. It was dying. I had cancer, but I didn't know it for 7 months. And I finally went in for a pap smear. And when they found out I had cervical cancer, I was like, oh, that's why my farts have been so stinky. You know? And I had acne. I had tons of acne all around my chin. I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I had severe migraines, incredible severe migraines. I was always going to the emergency room. I thought I was having heart attacks constantly because my chest was always in pain and palpitating and radiating down my arm, my left arm, as if I was having a heart attack. In fact, when I was 21 years old, one of these instances, I called 911. They came and got me with the ambulance. They took me to Elmhurst Memorial Hospital. And they ran a blood test and they found the T enzyme that is only present in people that have heart attacks. So I had a little heart attack when I was 21 years old. Wow. And I was searching for what can I do about this? And I was in nursing school at the time. And I thought, how can I have health and how can I have life? I didn't want to do chemotherapy and have my hair fall out. And I researched and I found a holistic doctor that told me to stop eating grains and dairy. And he told me that they were bad food. Now I call them not food, but I know what he was saying. And I wanted to know why. He didn't exactly tell me why. So I went on this journey of several years discovering, why grains and dairy aren't food. And after I totally reversed my own illness, I'm cancer-free. I do not have PCOS. I have no acne. I have clear skin. I had also a mouthful of cavities. I got 28 cavities in 21 years, and I haven't had a cavity since. In fact, I had 2 starting that I was able to reverse. So now I'm 37.
Wait. Hold on. Reverse. Wait, hold on. Rewind. Did you just say you can get rid of cavities?
Yeah, you can reverse cavities. I've had patients that have reversed cavities by eliminating the not foods, introducing the right foods for them genetically. And I developed a holistic toothpaste called the BTE, the best toothpaste ever. It's incredible. It really works. And I've had patients report that they have reversed cavities after being diagnosed.
Okay. Put me on the list for that one.
All right. Yes. Yeah. It's 9 ingredients. I make my recipe public. Anyone can make it. And it's free. And the ingredients are baking soda and coconut oil and bentonite clay and Himalayan pink salt and some essential oils and diatomaceous earth. And anyone can make this. And I have my recipe public on my.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is that recipe? Yeah. Okay.
It is. Put in BTE or best toothpaste ever into the search bar of Horvat Holistic Health, and it will come up, the best toothpaste ever. So that's available for everyone. I decided to not patent that because I wanted it available to anyone that wanted to reverse their cavities.
Wow, that's new news for me. So we are talking some more real talk. Oh my gosh, you have filled my brain with so much awesome information, mind-blowing information, folks. Are you feeling me? I mean, and if you have questions, she will respond afterwards.
Mhm.
Once the show's over, she will go back and respond to your questions. I will go back and respond to your questions. I just didn't want any interruptions right now to have people ask questions, because it'll be a all day Q&A, because I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys are already thinking of questions. What about this? What about that? I have this, I have that. And I know people personally that I love dearly, that I am going to make sure that they call Dr. Jeni after the show. You got to call her. Why? You'll find out when you call her. You just tell her what's wrong with you, and she'll tell you, girlfriend, you need to stop eating what you shouldn't be eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so passionate about it because I was able to reverse my own illnesses and live. I ended up dropping out of nursing school and began this lengthy, over decade long journey to become a naturopathic doctor in order to help other people not die. And I learned so much along the way. And I had to realize that what I had been taught about eat your whole grains and eat and drink your glasses of milk and got milk was a lie. I had to unlearn the lies that I learned. I had to do it myself too. So I'm there with my patients.
So what do
I
we
don't think
substitute? I'm sorry, Dr. Jeni. My mind is like on overload. So what do you substitute cheese with? I mean, we love our pizza, don't we? I mean,
I just
people
still
saying
eat
that's
it.
a pyramid, the dairy, the cheese, the protein, the meat, and the milk, that pyramid that we're taught in school. This is a different pyramid. The pyramid she's showing us is not food.
It's a different pyramid. Yeah, that's right, Eve. That's, this is what I say. You can't substitute your way to health. You can't substitute out that piece of bread and buy a piece of bread at the store that's processed, that's dried out, that will cause your body to have to flood it with water, and we lose water from our body just to hydrate it, that's full to be able to digest it. It's full of processed, propylene glycol and calcium disodium and EDTA and mono and diglycerides and artificial flavor and starches and binders and thickeners and lions and tigers and bears. And we don't want to put that stuff in our body. So if you want a sandwich, put a leaf of lettuce down, put some really good mayo that you make yourself. Mayo is eggs, oil, and vinegar. You can make it with avocado oil, apple cider vinegar, and a fresh cracked chicken egg. And then you can lay down some tomato and some cucumber and some sprouts and some mustard, and then put another piece of lettuce on top. You don't need the bread. You don't need the cheese. You don't need the tortilla. You don't need the queso.
No, don't tell me no more. Those
No.
tortillas are good.
No más. Yeah.
Wait, are tortillas not food? I mean, you
No.
talked about corn. For those of you that like elote, wait.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be eating
Yeah.
corn. Oh,
Elotes no hay comida. Because,
oh
right? It's not a
People
food.
say, why are you bringing her on the show now? We're not going to be eating.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've gotten a lot of hate mail over the years, and one of the hate mail emails that I got was from a woman that she said, Dr. Jeni, you can't tell me not to eat dairy. I'm going to drink a glass of milk in your honor for dinner tonight. And maybe she did, but she ended up hiring me 6 months later because she got diagnosed with lupus, and she ended up reversing her lupus.
Oh my.
And she doesn't have lupus anymore. And I have a testimonial from her. And it's because I put her on a protocol, and she reversed lupus, not because she took some pharmaceutical drug or a Band-Aid, but because she ate the foods that were correct for her body genetically. And she didn't eat the foods that were not foods. She avoided the foods in this not food pyramid. So one of the hate mails that I got turned into a patient that reversed her illness, and now we're friends, but that can happen sometimes when someone hears new information or when there's fear. It's a fear-based response. No, my grandma's recipe of this, or no, they'll associate food with love, but food is not love. It's how does someone, make you feel, and how does someone treat you? And in the Bible, love is equated to obedience, obeying the commands of Yeshua, not hurting people, treating our neighbor as ourselves, not working on the Sabbath, not stealing, not coveting, not murdering, not committing adultery. So there's definitions of things like love. And there's definitions of things like food, which is a nutritious substance that maintains life and growth. And nothing in this not food pyramid, nothing in it fits the definition of food. That's why it's in there. Do you want me to talk about the next one?
Please. I know that our show is only going to be an hour, but this information is just like too good. I don't know how much time you have.
I I can breeze through the next three. The next three are pretty quick. I spend a lot of
just
time
hope you
in
guys are
grains and
taking
beans.
notes. I mean, Dr. Jeni is giving you some very, very vital and valuable information for
Yeah.
your
And we
own.
can always do it to be continued. We can always
Yes,
do
we can
that.
do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yep. This next one is seed oils. So things like canola oil, grapeseed oil, rapeseed oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, vegetable oil, corn oil. All of those oils contain very high concentrations of omega-6. They are plant fats. Omega-6 causes destabilization in our cell wall. We need omega-3s in order to have a stable cell wall. If we have a stable cell wall, that means nutrients can get in, and the waste products produced by all of the subcellular structures in the cell, just like we as human beings, we produce waste and we defecate it out. All of the subcellular structures in the cell, like the Golgi apparatus, the endoplasmic reticulum, the nucleus, they produce waste, and that waste has to get from inside the cell to outside the cell. If the cell wall is not stable and you've got a wonky cell, you can't get nutrients in and you can't get waste out. And omega-3 fats like EPA and DHA, which comes from animals in a bioavailable form. Also, chia seeds, also avocado, walnuts, but besides literally those three things, you're going to get your omega-3s from salmon, from sardines, from beef, from chicken, from liver, from turkey, from duck, from venison. It comes from meat. And these omega-6 heavy plant oils are going to cause our body to hold on to too much omega-6, and it's going to throw off our omega-3 to 6 ratio. We don't want that. So we have to ditch these omega-6 oils, or else it's going to cause our body to not be able to detoxify at the cellular level. And these oils are in everything. You might see in the store a jar of hummus, and the hummus has, chickpeas and lemon and sesame seeds and garlic, and and it sounds really good. And then it says canola oil. But a little leaven's a whole lump, and a little oils the whole hummus. And then we've got to toss the hummus out, so these oils are
You're just disappointing me. I like hummus too.
and you can have hummus, but just make it yourself. Make it yourself at home.
Well, I'm going to have to do a lot of learning. Folks,
Yeah.
we are going to have to do a lot of learning how to cook all over again.
Yeah.
Now, nowadays, these chickens, they are injected with hormones. So how we know what a good chicken is and what is not, Dr. Jeni?
That's a really good question. And I do a lot of educating my patients on the types of animals that they choose to eat. If they eat a chicken, it should be labeled as organic and pasture raised. It means that chicken was allowed to scrounge around outside for bugs and not force-fed a vegetarian diet, which is not biologically appropriate for a chicken. Chickens are omnivores. They eat plants, they eat shoots, they eat beetles, they eat mice. They eat lizards. I used to have a farm in Northwest Indiana, and my chickens ate everything. My chickens ate fish. I would feed them fish. So chickens eat a biologically appropriate diet that is full of insects, small mammals, shoots and seeds and nuts, things that they scrounge around, grasses. But chickens aren't meant to be vegetarian. So chicken should say pasture raised on it. And I want to talk about this middle section right here. This is sugar. Avoid sugar because it raises inflammation in the body. And inflammation is the root cause of all disease. It can get there many different ways. And the main way inflammation enters the body is through sugars or food that turns into sugars, like dairy and grains. So sugar causes inflammation. Terrible for us. Soy is linked to cancer in women and in men. It's linked to prostate cancer in men. It's linked to breast cancer in women. Soy has plant estrogens that bind to our estrogen receptors, so it's especially non-beneficial for hormone-positive cancers. Over 95% of soy in the United States is genetically modified, and GMO foods also contribute to cancers. So this row right here, still stuff that is not food, and I do a lot of teachings on them. But the triangle at the top, I really want to focus on this because see what's up there? There's an owl, there's a bug, there's a catfish, there's a pig, there's a snake. These are all biblically unclean foods. So biblically unclean foods
Mm.
are foods in the Bible that it says we are not allowed to eat. It's interesting because a pig is on that list. Pigs do not have sweat glands. They don't have sudoriferous glands. A pig is a filter animal. It eats and roots around on the land, and pigs filter the land. That's why God, Jehovah, designed them. They hold within their meat heavy metals, parasites, all kinds of toxins, and they never excrete it. It never leaves the animal. And there was a study that showed that pig meat holds 37 times the amount of toxins as compared to
Ooh.
the next highest level toxic meat. That is huge. So pigs filter the land. And same thing with bottom feeders like shrimp, things that taste muddy, like clams and mussels. They filter and hold on to the toxins in the sea. So pigs filter the land and shellfish filter the toxins in the sea. Jehovah said that they're not food, and owls are not food. Predatory birds are not food. Things like vultures and eagles and hawks and owls. Frogs are not food. There's no species of reptile that is food for human beings. And most bugs are not food. Now, the Bible does name 3. We can have certain types of grasshoppers. We can have crickets, and we can have certain types of locusts. But besides those 3, we can't have any bugs. We can't eat spiders. We can't eat worms. They're not food.
Hold on. Let me just say this. And some of you may have seen it, and maybe you have, Dr. Jeni. In my country, Mexico, it's a delicatessen to eat roaches in their tacos while they're alive. Don't mean to gag you guys, but this is true. Why are we eating that? Well, I'm not, but people pay a lot of money for that. Are you crazy? People,
that's nuts, man. That, if someone put a roach in my taco, it would really bug me.
And these aren't the little ones that we see out here. These are like yay big, like
wow.
Big.
No,
I'm telling you, I can pull up videos, and it's like my friends in Mexico, my family are saying it's a delicatessen. You got to go to a special restaurant or a place where they feed you that. Don't mean to gross you out, folks, but we already been grossed out just knowing what we're eating is not food.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I think my brain is hurting.
I know there's so much information, and that's why too, when I work with patients and even in seminars, I break things down. I have a grains aren't food presentation, then I have a dairy is not food presentation, and then I have a sugar, soy, and seed oils aren't food presentation, and then I have a biblically unclean animal presentation. So everything in this pyramid is not food. Catfish, they're bottom feeders. They hold on to tons of toxins.
Wait, please. No, not catfish. I love my fried catfish.
Yeah, it's biblically unclean, and we're commanded not to eat it, actually, in the Bible.
So much for that. See, God said that what is worth it was not going to be easy. Okay. And what is easy is not good for us. oh my gosh. They're talking about Thailand. Hold on. We're talking about roaches now. Thailand, cockroaches serve as the base for many dishes considered comfort food in their culture. They eat them deep fried. You can find lots of street vendors selling them on skewers in Thailand.
Wow.
But these things are called survival food, Jeni. So folks, I'm not trying to gross you out.
Yeah, that's not food. Yeah, look at that.
I'm not trying to gross you out.
Roaches have fecal matter on them. Roaches have a lot of bacteria. Roaches carry parasites. Roaches contain toxins that then when we eat those roaches, I would never eat them, but if they're eaten, now those toxins are in us. So bugs have a lot of toxins. They filter the land kind of like pigs do, and yeah, and a lot of countries do eat these things, but just because someone eats something doesn't mean that it fits the definition of food biblically. Does it fit the definition of food scientifically? And does it fit the definition of food in the dictionary? And if it doesn't, I offer up to you that it is not food.
Folks, China is the #1 consumer of cockroaches on the planet. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I didn't mean to gross you out. This is real talk. So this is, I'm going to put an alert. I hope you're not sensitive because we're eating stuff we shouldn't be eating.
Yeah.
We're in part of the not food pyramid eaters.
And if you look at that top triangle, I put a roach in there because it's not food. You see on the left, that big mealworm will look just below between the turtle and the mealworm. That's a roach. I put a roach in there because it's not food. Just like a pig is toxic and not food. Just like predatory birds are toxic. Just like lizards, there's an iguana in there. There's a rattlesnake. There's a pufferfish, because it says that fish that are clean in the Bible have both fins and scales. And now science has caught up to the biblical truth and shows that fish without fins or scales, their meat holds on to so much toxin. So didn't God know what he was doing when he created those animals to hold on to toxin, and he didn't want them to go into us so we would become defiled? In fact, God calls this top triangle of fake foods an abomination. It's an abomination to eat them, and it is. Who wants to put them in their body?
Look, they're talking about eating roaches. Look.
Yep.
As a
scorpions, roaches. And think of that same level of grossness when you think of a pig. It does the same thing. Now we're eating toxins and bacteria and fecal matter and all these things, parasites, when we're eating a pig, because a pig is a filter animal. Same with a catfish. Same with clams. Yeah. Yeah.
He is eating them in Mexico City. Gross.
And it's not God's.
And they're alive.
Yeah. His plan was not for people to eat things he called an abomination. And his plan is not for people to put things in their body that cause them to be sick. You know, he created us and made fruits and vegetables for Adam and Eve. And then when Noah came out of the ark, he said that they could eat meat, so our diet should make up fruits and vegetables and meat. Jesus, he ate fish a lot with his disciples, but everything in this pyramid is not food. This is not for human consumption, guys. And I take all of my patients off of grains, dairy, seed oils, sugar, soy, and biblically unclean foods.
So in other words, folks, we're not eating food. Okay. Pretty much is what Dr. Jeni has been telling us. We are not eating food. We're eating toxins. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, what's the best way to get our protein that's healthy?
From
even the eggs. I don't even know where the eggs come from anymore. I mean, we know they come from a chicken, but those chickens, you got these big, fat, juicy wings and breast. And are they even healthy?
I eat a lot of grass-fed beef. I eat grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, all stores like Whole Foods, Costco, Aldi, they all sell grass-fed beef. They all sell wild-caught fish. I eat a lot of fish and beef. If I buy a chicken, I make sure it's pasture raised. And if there's not a health food store around you, you can actually order subscriptions. Like there's a company called 1,000 Hills from the Bible verse, my father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And you can order grass-fed beef from them and have it shipped every month to your house. So I do a lot of like wild-caught tuna, wild-caught salmon, wild-caught sardines, wild-caught cod. I do a lot of grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, pasture-raised chicken, pasture-raised turkey. If I do eggs, I make sure the box says pasture-raised, not just organic. Organic, they could be in a tiny little box their whole life eating just a ton of grains. But we want chickens that are pasture-raised.
What was that? Oh, you froze again. What was that site, that store that we can order online? Again, Dr. Jeni, I'm sorry, you froze. What was that store that you can go online and buy your beef and buy your pasture?
Yes, that is called 1,000 Hills. 1,000 Hills has pasture-raised beef. A great company to order healthy food from is called Azure Standard. Azure Standard has biblically clean and organic foods, and I highly recommend them. And they've got, I think, thousands of items, and you can get all kinds of things from Azure Standard, like chicken and beef, that are absolutely delicious. And they don't have any biblically unclean foods, so they don't do shrimp or pork or shellfish, any of those toxic non-foods.
So here's the $1 million question. How do we save money by eating healthy? It's almost like this is like done purposely.
Mm-hmm.
We get the fast food on sale, 2 for $5, 3 for $5. I'm one of those guilty ones. But when we want to buy what is really food for us, Dr. Jeni, how can we afford it? Or what? I mean, please talk to us, because I don't have $1 million pocket yet. It's there. I just can't liquidate it. That I won't have that issue and saying, well, I'd like to get me that steak, but it's $50.
Yeah, and here's what I say. Restaurants are full of not food. I don't recommend that patients eat out at restaurants, and I recommend that they make the food themselves. So meals are so cheap.
My future husband's going to like that.
Yeah. Yep. And I teach patients how to save money, because if they're not buying bread and cheese and crackers and chips and candy and seed oils, they're going to have so much more to spend and invest in their health and in their lifespan.
I'm looking at the site of Thousand Hills. I'm going to look at that, and people, do your own research. I always say, stop letting people think for you and choose for you. I abhor, and that's a very strong word, for someone to think for me and speak for me. I have my own mind. It's mine for me to use. Don't think for me or speak for me. Some of you out there are actually thinking for others, and we need to retrain our brain. It is our brain. Dr. Jeni's mind is hers, and she can do what she wants to do with it. And I'm not going to let her think for me, but I'm certainly going to get educated from her so that I can make those choices and not let these restaurants say this is good and it's healthy. So to my restaurant friends, I know that a lot of people make things from scratch, though, Dr. Jeni. I know of a restaurant just down the street that makes everything from scratch, and I'm going to have to ask, so what's in it?
Yeah. Ask questions. And just because there's a lot of mom and pop restaurants, but they cook in seed oils, they use grains and dairy. There are a few true healthy restaurants. There's one called Rawfully Yours in central Illinois that is a wonderful Torah observant, biblically clean restaurant. There's other ones, but they're really few and far between. But if you're going to a place that's cooking with non-organic meat, then those animals were injected with antibiotics. Now you're getting animal antibiotics into you. Now you're paying money, paying to have animal antibiotics, and paying to have your food cooked in seed oil. So I re-educate my patients on how to cook. I often teach them how to cook, how to store food, what pots and pans to use, because certain pots and pans can leach, things into the food. So things like stainless steel and glass are really great, ways to cook. Cast iron, and avoiding plastic pans, aka Teflon, avoiding aluminum that leaches into food.
Okay, folks, we got to go to our kitchen now. Clean it up. I'm going to buy me a skillet. Those iron skillets. Our moms had those that people will use to want to threaten somebody to hit with that. Yes, I need to buy me one of those.
Those are great. Yes. Get a cast iron skillet. You can cook your food in there and keep it really well seasoned. And that's part of patient protocols. I teach them how to cook from scratch.
Dr. Jeni, oh my gosh, I don't mean to cut you off. We're going to have to bring you back. Let's get to a point for some more real talk on food that's not food. Once a month, if you're okay. I know that you have a busy schedule, and I know that you're talking to people from all over the world, and more is coming to you. Guys, look at the bottom of the screen. I have been flashing it there. To get in touch with Dr. Jeni, go and like her page, and that's Horvat Holistic Health / Total Naturopathic Wellness. And here's her email address if you want more information to make an appointment. Dr. Jeni, how should they do that? I mean, that's your email address, drjeniweiss@gmail.com. Talk to our audience. I know they're dying to talk to you, and people may be literally dying not knowing that they need to talk to you.
You can. Yeah. If you have a desire to learn, and you were listening to this episode and you have a desire to change and implement what you learn, I do accept all patients that have a desire to learn. You can email me at drjenniferweiss@gmail.com. You can call me. My number is 219-613-5183. That's 219-613-5183. 5183. And you're welcome to join Horvat Holistic Health that my husband and I created on Facebook. We've had Horvat Holistic Health going on now over 5 years and have the privilege of educating almost 24,000 people in there. When I talk often about how grains and dairy aren't food, I write articles on molecular mimicry. I talk about the systems that I created for my patients, what kind of pans to cook in. And I post my own dinners and lunches and breakfast and desserts so I can give people ideas of what they can eat. And then also things like inspirational, hey, go for a walk today. And I oftentimes post my walk every day, 7 days a week. I go for a 30-minute walk. If it's too cold outside, we'll go inside. We'll lap a Walmart. But it's so good to get up. It's good for your heart. It's good for your blood flow. It's good for your lymph, our body's detoxification system. So Horvat Holistic Health is a free resource for anyone with a desire to learn, or you can give me a call or you can send me an email if you're interested in becoming a patient. We can set up an interview.
Yes, I have a few people, girlfriends of mine that I love dearly, that I'm going to connect them with you, Dr. Jeni, because I love them so much that I would like, and so would God, have them living here a little longer, because he did give us a mind, a brain that he says, a sound mind to know what we need to do, but know where we need to look for. And so this here is a free Facebook page with recipes, lifestyle. See, and I live an ethereal lifestyle, so I'm improving my lifestyle now by changing the way I'm eating, what I'm eating. And for us busy folks, we're going to have to do some meal preps. And I'm going to be one of those that will have to start doing meal preps. And I am one to preach what what I'm teaching. I'm living. I don't just preach it. I also live it. Because as I say, what is that saying? Do what you're preaching.
We have to practice what we preach.
Yes.
Amen. Right? Yes.
So we have to practice what we preach. And I'm one of those. You watch me on the radio or listen to me. I always get on my co-host, but it's because of what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what I'm reading in a book. I'm not telling you just because I heard it and learned it from Dr. Jeni. I'm telling you because I'm doing it. I won't tell you to do something that I have not done myself, because then that would not be cool. That would not be godly of me. And that would be misleading you. And I'm not here to deceive. My name is Eve, but I'm not here to deceive. Okay. And with that, Dr. Jeni, we're going to have to bring you back, because there's so much knowledge that you are sharing with us that's priceless, very valuable. Thank you so much. God bless you, Dr. Jeni. And abundance, just keep speaking abundance. It's coming because of what you're doing in that community to teach a healthier lifestyle and to heal people. It's just amazing. I mean, it's awesome.
Yes. And I'd love to come back on and talk about, holistic health and food that's not food, autoimmune disease, genetics, grains, dairy.
Let's talk about autoimmune, because a lot of people are getting sick. A lot of people are getting colds or COVID often. I am not going to put a disease in me. I'm not going to get a vaccine in my body to make me sick if I'm not sickly. Okay.
Right.
I'm not a sickly person. I will not put that in me. Hey, to each his own. Kudos if you do it, but learn to know what is putting in your body. Okay. Please love yourself some more. Allow someone like Dr. Jeni educate you, and take the time to do it if you really want to change your life and heal yourself on your own with what Dr. Jeni is teaching us, because she's teaching me too. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything, nor to ever.
And I don't either. I'm on a lifelong journey. I've learned things from patients that I have implemented myself. I have a desire to learn. I was researching what course I'm going to take next online yesterday, and calling the school and asking about programs. I'm always learning, reading articles, researching, and that's what adds. If you do an hour of research every day, can you imagine what you would learn, in a year? So I don't know everything either, but I love to learn and then share what I learn with others. And we can totally talk about autoimmune disease next time.
So stay tuned, guys, for some more here with Dr. Jeni. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. God bless you. Love you. And thank you. I know, Chris, you're backstage watching from afar. So
my amazing husband.
Thank you.
Thought of the name of the non-food pyramid. That was him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeni, for coming on here, Real Talk with E.V.E, and share some real talk about healthy eating or not eating. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Till next time. Thank you. Wow, guys. Unbelievable information. I really hope that you have taken this seriously, because we only have one life. And that's the one life to live, and that's it. And how you live life and what you do with it is up to you. Life is what you make of it. So that's some real talk, folks. With that, excuse me, I do have to go. This program is meant for actually a half hour, but when it comes to something this important for you to learn, I just have to extend it, because you deserve to know. You deserve to know the truth. And I'd rather tell you the truth than to lie to you and deceive you. And so, that's that. But thank you once again for joining here on Real Talk with E.V.E. We'll be back next Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. God bless you. Thank you so much for loving you and learning. Learn with me. All right. Until next time. Nos vemos.